really this is a no-brainer for the Patriots. I mean, you've wanted it for a long time. This is an incentive-laden contract. He's obviously got to rebuild his reputation. And what better place to go and do that than with Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels? And it kind of reminds me of what Jameis Winston's trying to do with New Orleans. You know? So if I can't find a spot where somebody thinks that I'm good enough to be a starter or trusts me to be a starter, or I'm coming off of an injury like Cam is coming off of, I got to try to find a place where at least I have a chance to maybe learn some offense, learn how to be an NFL quarterback all over again, and maybe, just maybe, I might get a chance to play. So the good news for Cam here is Jarrett Stidham is the number one guy going into camp, but that doesn't mean he's going to be the number one guy coming out of camp. And Cam is healthy. He's 31 years old. He's right in the middle of his prime. The problem is the last 2 years he's dealt with foot and shoulder injuries, and I don't know where his accuracy is. I know the last year that he played significant amount of time, he had one of his better years in terms of accuracy and yards per completion. He also ran a lot. Which also helps the accuracy issue because he's not throwing the ball away. But I would just say that, this is a no-brainer really for me. I'm not overly excited about it other than the fact that, it makes the Patriots interesting, and the dynamic between the head coach and the quarterback's post-game press conferences, the way the quarterback carries himself, and whether or not it's going to fit within the scope of the way that the Patriots like to do things makes it really interesting.
Well, I remember having this conversation with you for weeks because the only place that was left that didn't have a firm starting quarterback where there was some sort of transaction made or a high draft choice in the draft where you couldn't bring in a Cam Newton to sort of stunt the growth of the guy that you just drafted, it was the New England Patriots. So he kept going back to that conversation and saying, would that happen? And I kept saying, I'd love to see it happen, but there's just no way, right? If he hasn't done it now, Bill Belichick, he's not going to do it. And then we always used to talk about, think about the difference about Bill Belichick and Cam Newton in press conferences. You cannot get any different. You've got one guy who wears cut-off, stinky sweatshirts, who hasn't said a thing in 25 years, who deflects every question, and another guy where it's like Fashion Week in Cannes, who is saying a bunch of stuff that is pissing people off left and right. So you've got two guys that are complete polar opposites of one another, and that's going to be fascinating to watch. And it seems to me that Cam Newton is at this point in his career where, he's going to get this chance and he's going to make the most of it. It's not, I don't want to say humbled because, injuries are what did it. It's not like he was healthy and cocky and just was bad, but he had a lot of injuries. So he's gotten to this point now where I think he's going to listen to Josh McDaniels. I think he's going to listen to Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and I think he's going to be great. I really do believe that. But he's going to have to be a different player.
Wow.
He's got to be a little bit of a different player because that Cam that was running around all over the place and getting clocked and getting these injuries, he has to reinvent himself, and he's good enough to do that. One of the best seasons I've ever seen from a single NFL football player was that year he won the MVP in 2015. He was that good. And I understand that that's a long time ago now. We're going to talk in 5 years. But you mentioned it, 31 years old. He is not a dinosaur. He can do this. And the fact that he was cut, nobody wanted him, Belichick's bringing him in on an incentive-laden deal, I think he's ready to explode. It's going to be a fun story to watch.
Okay. It'll be a fun story. I don't know about ready to explode.
Oh, he is, man. He's coming. Let's go.
There's another player there, Jarrett Stidham, who they've seen.
Stop.
I understand. I know you want to say stop. They said the same thing about Tom Brady 20 years ago when I said, Tom Brady's there, and so is Drew Bledsoe. Stop. I don't want to hear about that.
If that happens again, that would be a shocker.
Okay,
that's a once-in-a-lifetime type of situation.
The interesting thing is that Jarrett Stidham is also from Auburn, which is where Cam Newton obviously won the Heisman Trophy and everything else. So you have a younger Auburnite, if you will, playing with Cam Newton. So that's going to be the whole thing's going to be interesting. But I will say that Cam Newton's going to have to modify his approach.
Sure.
If we get into a week or two of the season and everything, and all of a sudden he's struggling, he's not getting the offense. They don't like the way things are going. He's giving crazy interviews or whatever it may be. Could I see him get cut too? Yeah, of course, because this doesn't hurt the Patriots one way or the other. Now, what does hurt the Patriots is the fact that they got a third-round draft pick taken away from them, and they got fined over $1 million for the camera incident against the Bengals last year. It's idiotic. I can't believe the Patriots even went down this road. But the point being is that if Cam Newton does show something for the Patriots and does play well for the Patriots, and then he goes on the open market as a free agent, much like Teddy Bridgewater did after his 2-year stint down in New Orleans, that means the Patriots most likely will get that third-round draft pick back in the form of a compensatory pick the next year. So it's almost like the Patriots are kind of protecting the draft for next year by signing Cam Newton to an incentive-laden contract this year. If, in fact, he plays well and then does go somewhere else next year as a free agent, which is what I would think that Cam would be hoping. But then again, so is Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston's going to be hoping for that. And I would also think that Andy Dalton may be hoping for that as well.
Is genius PR. You find out when the findings are going to be released and the punishment's going to be released on this latest taping scandal, and then you beat them by an hour, and you tell everybody that Cam Newton is coming to the Patriots. I mean, it really is amazing how they were able to do that, because I think that most of us, and I'm not saying that this is going to be ignored today, it's not, but most of us are tired of this. I mean, it was crazy when it happened again. We've talked about the Patriots and the taping. Just one of those things that you hear and you're like, oh, it's like fatigue with the Belichick and the videotaping. It's almost like having a friend in your life who can't fix that one part of him, like whether he's always late or he's always lying or he's always something, right? And then you just learn to live with it, and it's just a part of that person. Like, that's the way I feel about the Patriots and cheating. It's like it's always there. Like, it's just always going to happen. Like, if they did it again this year, I'd just be like, whatever. It's the Patriots. Like, what do you expect?
It's almost like there's an edict that comes down where the edict is, look, man, do whatever you can do within the rules, but push the rules as far as you can push them. And if we get nailed with something, we're getting nailed with something. If you remember, Belichick basically took himself out of this one as well, much like he did out of Brady and Deflategate. But, look, you're the head guy. You're the guy that has the 9 Super Bowls. You're the guy that's, got the 6 Super Bowl champions as the head coach. You're the one that's lauded as the greatest head coach in the history of football. You have to accept responsibility for all of this. So maybe they did it for that reason. It sounds like it. It feels like it. This is a weird coincidence. No, I don't think so. I think this is definitely the reason why they probably waited to announce Cam Newton, because they wanted to wait until they got the penalty from the NFL to kind of camouflage some of this stuff. But again, it's like what does it matter? I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They're going to do more crap. Somebody's going to catch them at something else, and they're going to get banged again somewhere along the line. You just hope that the penalties that are given to them. And it doesn't seem like it has any effect, but you would like to think that there's going to be some, okay, we got to knock this stuff, we got to knock it off. It's not good for PR. It's not good for the football team. It's not good moving forward. We're losing money. We're losing draft picks, but it doesn't seem to really impact them in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, all it is going to serve as an argument point for those who don't like Bill Belichick in the future when you're comparing the best of the best and Tom Brady and all this reign that the Patriots have had. People who want to rain on it, and no pun intended, but those who want to diminish it are going to go to this stuff. That's all it means. Bill Belichick's still going to the Hall of Fame. All those Super Bowl championships are never going to be taken away. Tom Brady's going to go to the Hall of Fame. We're going to look back on what the Patriots did in this era and probably never see it again. All it's going to be is for teams in the AFC East, teams in the AFC, Belichick, Brady, Patriot haters will say, yeah, they cheated, but they cheated, but they cheated. And he's never going to be like this coach. He's never going to be like that coach because he cheated. And really, that doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't.
What happens if Patrick Mahomes wins like the next 3 Super Bowls? Then all of a sudden we are seeing the same thing between he and Andy Reid, but a different type of thing. And I think a much more, I feel on the open market, a much more likable guys.
But remember,
and by the way, Tom Brady is breaking NFLPA rules by running these practices with his teammates at this private high school down in Tampa Bay, just shunning, his responsibility as setting the example for the rest of us, not even wearing a mask out on the field, for God's sake.
Yeah, well, you know him with the germs and the whole lifestyle. He doesn't think anything can take him down. He doesn't care.
I understand that.
I bet you if you got, like, candid Tom Brady about coronavirus, he would say some shocking things.